Welcome to Kelly Loves K-Pop. I'm Kelly, K-pop fan and tarot reader. Today we're doing the part 2 to my EXO personality readings. So if you're looking for Xiumin, Suho, Lei, Baekhyun, or Chen, be sure to check part 1. That will be linked in the description of this video. Today we're going to do Chanyeol, Dio, Kai, and Sehun. So if that sounds like what you're into, stick around. Okay, as always, tarot readings are for entertainment purposes only. I am not affiliated, nor do I know any of these idols or their companies in any kind of personal manner. It's just for funds. It is not intended to be slander or libel or anything like that. While I do interpret the cards to the best of my abilities, do not claim them as facts. Okay, guys? If you're interested in having a personality reading done for your favorite idol, and I haven't already done one, because be sure to search the channel. I've done quite a lot of these. You can check out my Ko-fi page where you can make a donation and donators get to pick the subject of a video. So just make sure you're looking for an individual person, not a group. Group readings require more than a single donation. Also, if you're looking for a personal reading, I have an Etsy shop where you can order readings there. They will be private. They'll still be video style just like this, but they will be private, okay? Only you will get that link. So unless you want one of my like year ahead spreads for a K-pop group, those you do have to buy through the Etsy shop as well because they're a much larger reading. So you'd have to go to the month ahead and pick like 12 months, 6 months, 1 month, whatever you want, that kind of thing. If you have any questions, hit me up. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter. Those links are in the description. Also, just the comments here. I read every single comment you guys leave. I don't always reply if they don't need a reply, but I do read them. So if you have questions, I will be sure to answer them. Okay, let's see. We're on to Chanyeol today, who is our Sagittarius. There we go, Sagittarius. And Capricorn moon. So that's interesting. He's kind of organized chaos, Chanyeol. It's chaotic, but with a goal in mind. Also, he's the type of person that seems like they enjoy their private time. I don't want to say they're introverted. I don't think they're introverted, but they're actually fine like going off and just doing things themselves, going on and adventures by himself kind of thing. Ouch. Itchy. That kind of thing. Like, just if he has an interest and no one else wants to go do it, he'll just go do it by himself. Okay, so at least, generally speaking for Sagittarius, I don't claim to be an astrology expert. I just go with the experiences I've had with people. Let's put it that way. I've been into astrology since I was young, but don't ask me to like look at your transits, your natal transits versus your transits for today. I am learning that though. I'm currently getting better there, but I am very familiar with the zodiac and generally what those can mean for personality types. So let's draw 6 cards. If you don't know how my personality readings work, I draw 6 cards and we read from there. Interesting. One of those other guys got the prayer. Was it Baekhyun, I think? I have to go back and see. Oh, and the desert. I don't know much about EXO, but I have heard about Chanyeol having issues with ladies. Not always true, but it seems like, well, we'll get there when we get there. Let me not get ahead of myself, but he he got the femme fatale and the Playboy card. I'll just be very upfront with that. I don't want to subvert your expectations in any way. So let's get started. So, he is really compassionate. I do see him doing kind of volunteer work or donations. I know a lot of idols do that, but I see him having a particular interest in that. Kind of trying to trying to right wrongs he sees in the world. He definitely, I think, is an exceptionally well-traveled person. And I think he sees, not with more than his eyes, he sees with his heart. He sees like a lot of things that are awful. So even just not in Korea, I think he can be the type that's looking to donate or volunteer internationally. I just think he does have a big heart. It can get him in trouble, but I do think he has a big heart, and he wants to see people that deserve it have a helping hand when they're struggling, that kind of thing. I think he's an advocate. Even if he's not super talkative about it, I think he might be the type of person that puts his money where his mouth is when it comes to those kind of things. So, in the positive. Now, another thing is sometimes when I have negative readings, again, these are personality readings. Your personality does not stay one way forever. It's going to grow and change as you grow and change. And everybody can be aware of negative aspects of their personality and work to change those things consciously as well. So I've done other readings where sometimes a negative aspect will come up and it will really upset their fans. But a lot of times it's just like, these are human beings. They are learning and growing, and sometimes they make bad decisions or sometimes they misstep. And if you don't like it, click off. If you don't like hearing anything negative about your idol in any way, tarot readings are usually not going to be for you, or you go find a reader that only does positive. I try to be as honest and truthful as I can be without being disrespectful. Like, I'm not trying to disrespect anybody, so I just want to make that really clear. Just because I'm worried we might get into some of that territory here when it gets there. And I've just had some backlash on other videos where I even just implied someone might be a little on the cheap side. And it's like, that doesn't make him a bad person. It just makes him cheap. So, yeah. I just want to put that out there. We could have that caveat. So we're going to go into the second card here. This is the Vessel in kind of a shadowy aspect. He could feel very trapped in his present situation. He could feel like either contractually or in some kind of agreement with, maybe even with family. He can feel like the weight of expectations is really heavy on him, and he does not like that. I think he doesn't really like anyone having expectations of him. He likes being a free spirit. That is very Sagittarian. They are free spirits. They're very prone to wanderlust. They get bored easily. They're very non-committal. Of course, not all. This is just a generalization of the sign, but it's very common. So to feel boxed in, to feel like he has to commit to things can make him feel very trapped, can make him have anxiety over other people's expectations. He would rather just do what he wants to do and let people just kind of leave him alone, which is very human. I mean, I think we all just don't want people telling us what to do all the time, but I think he especially doesn't like that. He might have some issues with authority, and the more someone tries to control him, the more distant he will become, allegedly for entertainment purposes only, from that person. So that's kind of the vibe I'm getting, is that he really does want to help people. He does really love people, but he does not like being controlled. He does not like being put in a box, and it's stressful for him. Then we have the prayer and kind of more neutral. I kind of had the other person, and it was almost like they could get more help. They do have, I think, people that want to support and uplift them, but they don't reach out for that help as much as they could. He could have more opportunities if he reached out to people more. I think in his case, he's scared that if he asks for help, that means he owes people things. And I get the vibe he's a very like, has pride in not owing people anything. So it could be that, like, it's good and it's bad. He's like self-made, you know how people kind of say that. He's worked hard for everything he's gotten, and I think he doesn't want to feel like anybody has given him a free pass, or that he didn't earn something. It's almost like he could get favoritism, and he intentionally does not want that. So I feel like he's turned down really big opportunities because he felt like people might judge him negatively, or say like he was undeserving of those opportunities for some reason. He really wants to feel like he's worked for everything he has. And then we have these two. We have Eros and the Siren, and those are pretty direct. Eros is, he's a great lover. He is out there. He's out there. I don't want to say, again, I'm not going to try to disrespect anybody. And I don't personally judge anything like promiscuity. Not saying he is, just saying I don't judge people for that. Like, be safe, have fun. I don't care. But yeah, again, I think it's from an aspect of he doesn't want to be controlled. He wants to go out and he wants to have fun and he wants to do what he wants to do, and he doesn't like anybody telling him what to do. And he's young and he's attractive, and he's going to, he's a guy. He's a guy. What do you want me to say? He's living his best life, and I love that for him. Again, he has this femme fatale, very kind of alluring nature to him when he wants to. Usually with the Siren, though, it can be destructive. Usually in this aspect, it means he's here to have fun. He's here to, like, I think the type of lifestyle he wants or has can be very, again, kind of like alluring or enticing to people. And then when they want to tie him down or have, any say in the things he does after that, he's like, no, this was the summer, we're free of rules. Like, if you know that movie, you know what I'm talking about. It's like, yeah, it's like, you like me because I was having a good time, and now you want to, like, infringe on my good time. Like, what didn't you understand? So it, like, then he gets the backlash. Then he gets the miscommunication because people want that for themselves, and he's like, no. Not saying he won't settle down if that's what he wants when he's ready, but I feel like in this personality reading, this is kind of what's the energy right now, and this is the energy right now. So take from that what you will. Allegedly for entertainment purposes only. And then we have the desert in a more shadowy aspect, which is interesting because in the positive, in the light aspect I had it before, it actually was still kind of a negative card. So even the other way around, this can mean, number one, like, overworked. He's just got, like, way too much on his plate. But also he could feel like either when he's overworked or when he's, like, just isolated. Again, he doesn't like rules. He doesn't like too much structure. He can feel really stressed out from being cut off from everyone else. So things like this panini we're in, the plague times, could be making him have a lot of anxiety and sullen emotions being cut off from people, because obviously he's a very social creature. I'm hoping maybe that will be lifting soon. It feels like some of the other guys are coming out of their hobbit holes and are going to finally like interact with again with people. Also sometimes I get like, if you've been cut off for so long, you almost can forget. Like you can start to feel awkward around people because you're out of practice, you know? And it may be something like that. Like he's kind of been out of practice. He feels rusty when he's going to have to go and interact with people. And that's another set of anxiety. But either way, like when he's cut off from being a social creature, that affects him adversely. He does not like it. So like that's another part of his personality right now, allegedly, that he just doesn't do well. He doesn't do well with structure, but he also doesn't want to be cut off. He just wants to be free and love people as he feels called to. He's got a big heart. It just sometimes not everyone agrees on what he should be doing with it. So that's what I have for Chenno. But you know, don't shoot the messenger. I just read the cards. I don't put my personal views in there. In fact, my personal views are very pro people doing whatever the heck they want to do. So don't bring no nastiness in my comments. I am very good friends with my block button. Okay. Let's go into Dio. Dio's another one. Like I know he's a really good singer. I know he's got a few soul songs I really like, although I couldn't tell you the name of them. I'll just like, usually he puts out an album, I skim through it, I add like 2 or 3 songs to my playlist, and then that playlist lives in shuffle. So I don't even know the names, but I do know he's got some good songs. Okay, he is a Capricorn. Capricorn. Okay. And that super fits what I've seen, what small bits I've seen of his personality. It's kind of like lots of confidence, but kind of weird. Like, he was like, this is me, and if you don't like it, that's just too bad. That's what I've gotten from him so far. Like he's fine, just treading his own path. He feels it seems like he's a very confident person. Like he knows what he's doing. You don't have to like it, kind of deal. Okay. Okay, so some of these we've seen in the previous readings. The Bardo. This is about being very connected to his ancestors. Also, last time I got this card, it really brought up he probably has musical family members, other people in the industry, or other people that are very connected to music. So it's like a lineage. It's like something that is passed down in his family. Some kind of love of music or entertaining. And he feels like he's continuing that family line. So just sometimes you feel like something is in your blood. And I think that's how he feels about what he's doing, is like this was in his blood to do, and probably because of a past ancestor or a family member that also has done. So we have the Forest in reverse. So this is being kind of reclusive. I think now we're seeing a true introvert in this group. Who was the other introvert? I think I was saying like Beckon was more introverted than people thought, but I think Dio is a true introvert. He probably doesn't have a lot of friends, but those friends are like, he will fight to protect them with his life. I don't know. I think there's something about the celebrity like the celebrity life or the celebrity aspects that intimidate him. Like, he doesn't really want to be a celebrity. He wants to be an artist. But I think like all those expectations that come with being a celebrity and the way you look and the way you act, and he's just like, yeah, I'd just rather not go in public then. Like, there's kind of that, like, he knows no matter what he does, someone's gonna say something, and he knows he doesn't always like play by the idol rules. He's a little overconfident, and maybe he's scared he'll say or do something, you know, that'll just make people angry, so he just tries to stay like private. Like, he feels like a very private person. But because of that, the friends he does have are super important. The orphan talks about found family, and even people that aren't your blood relations are like almost more important to you. That you would do anything for those people. You would give them like literally everything. So he's a very generous, kind friend to like that circle, those few people. And I do think it's small. I think he's got a small friend group, allegedly for entertainment purposes only. He might be like in the group chat with a lot of people, but I think those people don't actually see him. I think the people that see him or he shows up for are a select privileged few. And then we have the mystic. So again, we have another like unique, like, I think his views on the world, his views of people, and how like the world works and maybe like what happens after. He's got a unique view. I think he may be a religious person, but there may be where it's like, you know, he's aligned, but that's not completely what he believes, or he expresses those things in his own way. You know, people have their own relationship with source that maybe isn't in the church, or, you know, but yet they pray to the saints at home or something, you know, like he, or whatever he practices isn't like the mainstream, right? Like, he may be kind of something like that where it's a more, it's a less popular religion or belief system, something like that. So he's kind of got that mystic woo effect. If you talk to him, where I think he has a you know, just like a mysticism to him, like a, I don't know, whatever it is, it's kind of, it draws people to him, but it also scares people. You know, because it's different, because he's different, or his view of it is said in a unique manner. And I can't express it, but he's got an interesting take on spirituality. That word is hard for me to say. Again, I can't speak today, so I'm trying my best. So then we have the cave in shadow. Again, this is kind of like, you know, this forest card. He is away. He is, and it could be that this is an exacerbation of the other, between the plague times, between the backlash from what's going on with other members. And I don't know if he had his own backlash, if he said or did something that got some negative press, or he's just getting press because he's vocal about supporting his members. I don't know, but it's almost like that. It's like there's like an extra thing where he's like, not only am I already private, but there's certain things I am definitely not sharing with the public because they cannot handle it. He is very like, nope, you do not get access to this portion of me at all. And I just don't know if it's because that part, like the public or the media already kind of had a backlash with him to that, or if it's just that's his privacy. Like, he could be one of those like, oh yeah, this member has public relationship, but don't ever ask me about mine. I will never talk about that. It's kind of like that. Like, he's already quiet, but there are points where he has a strong boundary where you're just like, nope, that part of me does not exist. So I couldn't tell you what it is because he obviously wants that private. But I will assume it will probably be more about his family and relationship. He probably will not. I don't expect him to be like Chen and probably publicly announce those things. You might find out, but I don't think he would be the way you found out. That kind of thing. At least I feel like that's where he is now. There's something he definitely hides from everyone. It doesn't make it a bad thing. It just means there's parts of him where he's just like, nope. For my own happiness, you can't have that part of me. And then he has apocalypsis. So in the industry, I feel like even though he may not be on TV shows like some of the other members as like a teacher or mentor, I do think he either gives some kind of training class at the company or on his own, or again, it's a family thing where he's training like the younger members of his family. There's something he's passing down. There's a knowledge he has that he is passing down to other people. I would love it if he was a mentor on a show. I haven't seen it, but if he has been, please let me know, because I feel like he's got a calling for that he understands, he knows he wants to do more of. And he could just also be that kind of person where he's not as open about it, but because of those few people he really does hold dear, he shares all his knowledge with those people. So it could be something like that where he just really, he has a lot to offer and a lot to share with people, but maybe because he's not a public person as much as some of the others, he doesn't get to show that side of him, but I think it's there. I think it's truly there, especially like Capricorn. Capricorn loves telling people what to do. Me as a Capricorn rising also included. But yeah, Capricorns love to run the show. So I think he's the type that is, if you mess up at practice, he's going to tell you, but he also will help you. But yeah, he's got a good aspect for being a teacher, being a mentor, being someone people look up to. So that's what I have for Dio. And we have Kai next. Kai is also a Capricorn, which I was actually really surprised, because if there was anybody I would have pegged to being the Libra in this group, it would have been him. Like, Kai just seems like a happy kitten. I mean, maybe I'm just not exposed to enough content. I mean, I know his music is not happy kitten. Well, you know. I know his music is not so light and fluffy, but I feel like as a person, I've only seen him be kind of light and fluffy. So, I don't know. Capricorn is really interesting, but also really great. That's probably why he does so well with his solo work, because he's the type of person that knows what he wants and will tell you what he wants and how to do it. So it's good. Very direct, very authoritative, naturally authoritative. But I just think he doesn't wear that on the outside. He's got a Aquarius moon, which means he also might be a little... Again, kind of introverted. Surprisingly introverted, because I wouldn't have pegged Kai for an introvert either. But yeah, Aquarius moon makes me feel like he does not share his emotions with very many people. So we'll see what the cards say. Like, he may save all those emotions for songs, but doesn't tell people directly, maybe? I feel like Aquarians give you the look. They don't say it, but if they got a problem, they just give you the look. And then they're like, what is it? Like, nothing, and then they leave the room. That's kind of what I'm getting. Okay. Let's go ahead and see what Kai has. So he's a mischief maker, is he? I see. He's a joker. That's really cool. Okay. These two cards working together, I'm vibing. All right, so we have the tear. And the tear is about being very in touch with your emotions, which is surprising. But I mean, this doesn't guarantee he's good at talking about them, but it does mean he has very deep well of emotion. He is very sensitive. I don't want to say like in like that kind of negative way where it's like you can hurt his feelings very easily, but I think he is in very good acceptance of his emotions. Like he feels emotions deeply. He accepts that they're emotions. It could be why he maybe has more introverted, because he wants to take those emotions and put them in a place where he can feel them and feel like he's not judged for that kind of thing. But he's probably a really, really good person to talk to in emotional states, in times of chaos. He's like maybe more of a listener than an advice giver, but you know, the listener when you need it. Because here he has the temple and the prayer working together, like literally trying to point to each other. So it means like he is a pretty religious person. He finds his solace in prayer. This means that he also is good about reaching out for help. He is not, if he is struggling, he's probably that person that will go ask people, how do you do this? What do I do? Who do I need to talk to get this done? That kind of thing. Also, I think people just generally like him. I think because he's kind of in touch with his emotions, he can have a bright personality when he needs to, and he can be quiet when he needs to. Like he's probably really good at also reading people. Excuse me. Maybe not telling when people are lying or being dishonest, that kind of thing, but seeing like body language of people, like if they're in a good mood to meet that good mood, if they're in a bad mood to not bother them. I think that kind of reading is probably where he's at. Maybe a little bit of like an empathic reading for him. And then we have the riddle, which is where I was like, he's kind of mischievous. Like, I think he's a funny guy. I think he likes to make people laugh. You know, I do think it can be like a coping mechanism in some ways. You know, say if I'm feeling a lot of emotions, let me make a joke so you think it's not that serious. But also if he needs to make other people feel better, he can like brighten up the room. But I do think he likes to prank. I think he's got like a prankster side. I think he likes to laugh. I think he likes to make other people laugh, not in like a comical sense, but like surprising you know, that kind of way. You know, and he could have like dad jokes. You know, it could be something as simple as just like having dad jokes that are just so bad that they're good, or you know, you laugh because they're so bad. It could be even something like that. But there is something where he knows how to make people laugh, and he uses it as some kind of catharsis for himself or for them. Allegedly. Then we have the mother. So this is about him being like really creative. Constantly like working on a new project, constantly like creating. He's just a naturally, I mean, not that any of them aren't creative people, but I think like he takes his art seriously. It's probably how he processes his emotions. Most musicians are that way, but I think for him it's very serious that he's always working on a project. He's always got something that he's putting his heart into. Because this gem also talks about having like many interests. And I think that it is probably his fatal flaw, is that he's hard to nail down. He likes so many different things. Or he's kind of got like so many projects going at once that it's hard for him to like pick one and focus and stay focused on that. Because, yeah, the gem is about creation as well, but this is about, like, the only time it's interfering with that is because you got too many things. So, it could just be that he feels like he's always got something for the right opportunity. Like, oh, let me reach in my bag. I always got something for that. But it can make those things all take longer to come to pass because he's working on too many different things. You know, so kind of like that. He could have so many interests that he just needs help getting them focused. But overall, he just seems like a kind of like sweet, endearing friend that's gonna make you chuckle. You know, that kind of thing. At least, again, these are all for what is on the surface at the moment, what I can get. People grow, people change. If I've done past readings on them, some of them I probably have. And they're different. It's because they've grown. It's been a year, 2 years. I don't know how long this channel's been going now, but it's been going for a while. So, yeah. Also, if I have past readings on these guys, I'll probably be linking them in the cards for you guys to see. So they'll be all right there, easy for you to find. And check them out. I got a whole EXO playlist at this point. So let's see. Last member, the baby, Sehun. We got another Aries. So the eldest and the baby are Aries. That is interesting. So we have maknae and false maknae, basically. So let's see. Where are you at, Aries? There we go. So him and Chumin always fighting over who's the real baby. Aries is I'm baby energy, like for sure. Take care of me, feed me, and I'll love you forever. Very much, I know what I want, but I don't want to do it. Okay. 7. Make sure I'm still recording. I am. Yes. Whew. Another 40-minute video. 50-minute video. I think it was just over an hour for the first one. I don't know how it'll come out in the end after I've cut some stuff out, but... Alright. 7. Let's go. Also, if I didn't say... These cards are my Kim Krantz Wild Unknown Archetypes Oracle. I probably forgot to say that in the first video. It's fine. It's fine. I use these for my personality readings almost exclusively at this point. Alright, so... All right. So we have, again, the medallion. We saw this with Lei, I think. He does have like a really like sense, he does have a strong sense of duty, of living up to expectation, of kind of like following the rules, but it's kind of always to the aspect of like waiting for his reward. And not necessarily in a bad way. I mean, I think he's just been told that, hey, if you do this, this, and this, and this, you'll get what's coming to you, you know? You know, what is it? Good things come to those who wait. Kind of what I'm feeling a lot for this card. Kind of just following the traditional routes. He's not trying to make a fuss. He's not trying to fight for things, fight for the attention. He's like, okay, I'm last in line. That's just what it is. But he does have a sense of like, that's the right thing to do. Like he agrees that he's like, yep, that's just how it is. And that's fine. I kind of get that vibe, from that card. It's like, he's working towards it, but he knows it's not there yet. I think I get this a lot for a lot of magnates. They just know they're last in line. And their time will come, but they have to wait till the older members do their thing. Unless for some reason there's a huge call for that. Like some members, the Maknae is the most popular one, and they get their rewards first, but I don't know if that's the case for him. Either way, he feels like he's doing what he should be doing in that case. Like he's not being greedy or anything. And then we have the womb kind of in the shadow, where he's like overly independent. It's funny because it's like, I see him with these 3 cards. I see him, it's kind of like a binge. He holds his emotions back, he holds his emotion back, he fights it, he stays away, and then he deals with people and he almost gets overwhelmed. Then it's like too much. It's like he puts it off until he can't put it off anymore, and then he's like, okay, I really need to be around people. I really can't cut myself off from people. I miss people. You know, I want to be involved. And then when he's like overstimulated. It's like too much. Because the note, and I'm doing this one a little different just because these 3 I feel like are very connected. Because like he's overly independent, but then the tier in reverse talks about kind of being sad and needy and kind of not in touch with your emotions in the right way. So it's like almost like he puts, I don't want to say he has any kind of breakdown because I don't want to scare people like that, but you know, when you just finally like allow yourself to cry, allow yourself to feel, I feel like that's when he reaches out finally, and it's like, it's kind of stressful for people around him. Like I think it makes him feel like he's scared to reach out because he doesn't reach out until he can't stand it anymore. Allegedly for entertainment purposes only, but that's what these 3 cards are really giving me. That he just doesn't want to deal with his emotions. Sometimes I think he puts it off. But putting it off is what's keeping him in this cycle, because you can't just put off trauma or your negative emotions. You have to deal with them. You know, and again, he's young, so it's not like he knows these things. He's learning these things. So I don't want to sound like he should know. You know, we learn when we learn. That's how life is. So he's got the vessel also in shadow. And again, this is like trapped. Again, it kind of talks about like almost falling apart, feeling fragile. So I just don't know, because of him being kind of independent, if he just doesn't have enough friends and enough support, he could just do it out of safety. He could just do it out of this cycle pushing people away from him. I'm not sure, but there is like this fragility and this loop that it feels like he's kind of repeating. And he needs to open up, and he needs to kind of find more support, I think, for some of this emotional aspect of his personality. I don't know, he could be going through something. Sometimes I get these when people have dealt with like a death in the family, and that's what's causing like some type of behavior like this. I don't know. I don't keep up with him, so I don't know what he's going through, but it does seem like there's a cycle he's kind of dealing with. And then the last card we have here is the Hunter. And this talks about him having an actual deep well of experience. He's very respectful. I think a part of it is that, again, he's the Maknae, he's young. He probably doesn't get listened to, like when he's coming from a place of experience, when he's talking about his career or his knowledge, he probably doesn't get treated like he knows what he's talking about, even though he really does. I feel like he's been doing this a long time, even though he's very young. And I think feels like people overlook him or talk over him when he is just as experienced as they are, maybe even more so. And I don't want to say this is from his group members. It could just be people in the company, people he deals with, you know, people he works with, you know, from studios or acting or different things like that. Like it could be out when he's doing roles and people are like, oh, you're new to acting. He's like, well, I mean, yeah, but I've been training for who knows how long. You know, it's like it's something like that where he kind of gets disregarded and he has to keep telling people like, no, I know what I'm talking about. Otherwise I wouldn't talk. So I like that he isn't afraid to like remind people of his value. Like he will speak up for something like that. He will kind of gently correct people, or maybe not so gently because he's an Aries, but he is like, no, this thing I know, this thing I can tell you what I'm doing. And he will. The Hunter talks about being very confident in that aspect of your life, in that area, and being direct about it. So it's a mix of good and bad for him. Again, I hope this is just something he's caught in right now and that he's processing and working through. I hope he does get more support around him. I don't know if he's gone through anything recently, any issues that might have put him in a trauma cycle, but I'm just a little worried for that. I didn't talk about Gnosis too much. I kind of glazed over it, but it's just about being like in your head too much and scared to act on things. But because it's with this vessel, I feel like it's related to all of this. Generally, a lot of times the cards that are directly underneath are, to me, related. You know, I practice like directionality when I read. So I do think he can kind of deal, like, I don't open up, and then when I do, people act this way, and that's why I don't open up, and then when I don't open up, that makes me stressed, so then I have to, it's like this, you know? So I just, I hope, again, I hope he does get the support he needs, but I don't want to like overstate it and say like this is detrimental to his life. I just think it's a cycle he tends to repeat, and that he can't get out of it until he changes something, right? So that's everybody at EXO. That is everyone. Now I did a whole EXO career reading, so I'm not going to do an additional reading on them in this video. Usually when I do personality readings, I will do a career reading or a current energies type of reading for them after, but because I did their career reading first, I will just link you back to that video. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed it. Again, if you want to see personality reading on one of your favorites, check me out on Coffee, shoot me a message, we'll figure it out. Okay, have an absolutely wonderful day. I will see you guys real soon. Bye.